Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Meta HSC Valorant, sponsored by Optus and Torrens University of Australia. I'm Digital Cast, and of course, it's Reinhardt Coin with me for Game 2. And now, a best of one this week. It will be on Haven. This time, it will be, which two schools was it? Remind me again.
We've got De La Salle College versus off against Bass High School. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup. We have seen Riaz Gremery perform immaculately well on selected agents like Phoenix for one in, I think it was like two weeks running. And we've also got Issei Hyodori, who's also been playing very formidable as well. Like, they've got a very strong team comp. Go up against the likes of Asian Fried Rice and JC, two players to highlight on the spot. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how well they can verse one another. Like, who has the skill gap coming into this matchup here tonight as game number 2 over at Meta HSE.
Yeah, and looking at the leaderboard as well, De La Salle College, Revesby Heights, actually, they're currently number 1 in on the leaderboard at 6 wins. Obviously, the Bass High School is at 5 wins, just one under. But however, the thing is, one win, sometimes it does separate and make or break a great team from a good one.
Exactly, and I'm already liking this setup. At the moment, we can see over on the attackers side, they've got a very strong aggressive comp. The only thing that's a little bit missed out on is that they would have to rely a little bit on the smokes coming out from Jet when they secure a site. Like, that is a one-man show versus the rest of them at the moment.
That's sort of true, but bear in mind, Howie on Astra as well, you do have those nebula smokes that don't last as long as, say, Brimstones, and they aren't as big as Omens, but they get the job done.
Good
also, Rias, you missed that out. He was like,
I was raised for a second there, because to me, they're both very similar at the moment. Like, I'm looking at it, it's just like, oh, okay, then all right. So that could be a raise. Very interesting. But I'm still liking it regardless. It's looking very strong. Whereas on the defending side, I'm really liking the Omen Killjoy most of all.
The Omen, I always have mixed feelings about this because in the current meta, Astra has overtaken Omen's role as the primary smoker just because of the fact that Astra's utility kit is much more versatile. You can do a gravity well suck as well as a fragile stun afterwards. You can do a Nova Pulse, which is flat out stuns enemies, and you can also do a Nebula. And on top of that, you can place your smokes down anywhere, and your utility, it's basically unlimited as long as you have stars left remaining. So yeah, going back to your point, De La Salle, they have a really good and basically in meta composition, but for Bass High School, something much more comfort. But the Rays and Reyna versus Jet and Phoenix, that's something I'm excited to see.
Yeah, especially once he hits the run it back, it's going to be very. It's like a nice little recon, to sort of understand what their front line is when sitting on base when they decide to go for a point. Should they focus here? Should they focus there? All right, they're in this corner. We got to change up our position. And the one thing I love so much coming to this from, I believe it's De La Salle on the right-hand side?
De La Salle on the attack, yeah.
There we go. De La Salle on the attack side is that they always have that one man lagging on the flank to catch out anybody who tries to go for the side here. And straight off the bat, we've gone straight into this. Look at Labs trying to get a few pokes in. It already takes a hit and is forced to heal.
Yeah. Thankfully, though, that heal for Sage, it does regen over time, but it's 45 seconds, and that's like half the round already gone. And Rias, okay, the star Phoenix you mentioned earlier, opens things up, takes down JC. Now, why is that punishing as a first kill? Because that's the smokes for the defenders for a potential retake. They're down a player. The Sage was gone up over towards mid, and instantly repositioned over towards C. This is good, but Rias is going to go for the aggressive push, leading the charge.
Yeah, and with that, Star Smokes playing down to the field, they're able to gain some control, gain the vision needed. The Scout arrow gives them the ability to try and catch them off guard. All of them are now sitting in garage. They don't have much vision available. They are handicapped at this point. And with their wall up, they are now facing even more trouble. They're pretty much going to get caught out immediately, giving off all the information needed for De La Salle to completely flank them on the side.
Good jump, though, because actually you spot out the Sage as she has to rotate off, but there's 2 players already point blank, spraying bullets down range, and Rias escapes with 3. That's all down to CBF, 1v2. He can do this now. Rias is very low. CBF just has to win out the engagement, but it will be Issei to finish things off. Okay, all things considered, not having any smokes, it wasn't that bad, but they still lost the pistol round, and now they will probably have to save this as De La Salle looking to buy up.
I gotta say, that was an amazing first round coming out from De La Salle. able to really cap onto things, take down Omen immediately, sending them back, not only into a 4v5 situation, but also they were missing some smokes, which is really, making it much more easier for them to be able to take the charge. And having Astra alive as well on top of to pop those stars, they're really making good use of the utility on those abilities. And now starting off this next round, they don't have anything available. And right there we go again. Second round, first blood again.
Yep, JC, the smokes once again gone for the defenders. But then again, this is a bit of an eco round, so they can do some damage, ideally, and that's the best thing they can hope for. Although I say that, HSE Rice is the only person who has hero bought a Spectre, and Howie shuts him down ASAP. Okay, Pongo, the last player standing on the B site, as Cheru goes down. Good luck.
Last player standing.
And this is what's really going to sort of give them this round, is that they decided to go straight in for 5 Spectres over probably
Spike
1 to 2
planted.
Spectres, and just others still trying to hit Econ with those classics available. Oh.
Okay. You know what? CBF, he did get at least one before he went down, so that's at least a small win, because realistically, right, they really weren't going to get anything done with the economy and guns they had, but now Agent Fired Rice, after the hero buy in the previous rounds, he's dog poor. He can only buy half armor Spectre. Everyone else on his team are rifle pretty much.
His name's kind of making me hungry a little bit. Asian fried rice. Just fried rice. Yes, I haven't eaten lunch today, and I'm beginning to feel a little bit peckish just thinking of
It's
the
6
name.
p.m., dude.
Well, I'm a 30-minute difference, but regardless, I'm still hungry.
You haven't had lunch and you haven't had dinner. That's the duo combo that you don't want coming into this. But hey, look, it doesn't matter. Thankfully, you aren't playing. Although they have changed up the defensive strat a little bit here. CBF instead will be playing over towards mid, the insta wall up, and this time JC is still alive.
Yeah, and I gotta say, it's really risky going all out for at least 3 members over on Bass High. You've got like CBF, Shiro, and Bongo all hitting the Vandals and the Phantom, as well as JC, really hitting full loadouts in this 3rd round. But they haven't had any success so far, so it's taking a big risk. Whereas on the other side of the spectrum, De La Salle, able to sit with the Econ for that little bit longer.
JC got spotted out, but thankfully the Spectres can't really wallbang that much. It's SMG after all, the silence. Asian Fried Rice, though, it does get revealed. He gets vulnerable as well. Okay, good for one. Dismisses out the safety. JC trades with them, and JC, not again, man. Goes down. No smokes once again for the defenders. Asian Fried Rice being raided. You can sell field, but we'll opt to use the Sage Wall instead. Spike is down, 4v4, and look at this Sage Wall again.
Yeah, blocking up some side vision, but there's going to be 2 more kills going over to Bass High. Now going to catch him off guard. There's the Elder Flame catching a nice kill, the final kill of the round, and the first point leading onto the defense this time, which does mean that we might see a little bit of ray of hope coming out from Bass High, because this is a attacker-dominated map. Like, when you're on attack, you have the advantage, but the minute you're on defense, there you go. A little bit more stress is put on your plate.
That round, it was good that Bass High, they won it. They lost 2 rifles, so it's not too bad. But if they lost 3, then that's a slight issue. But the thing is, they were meant to win that round regardless. It was a bonus buy for De La Salle, and they, as long as they got damage, and which they did, and got the spike down, that's it. Their job is done. Now they are the ones who have the full rifles, and plus 2 ultimates to boot. Rias, once again, the Phoenix, the run it back, things make it hot.
And now we're coming into this. I'm liking what we're seeing straight off the bat. The spike now being picked up by Sova, so they're going to try and switch things up. This is what is smart about putting the spike down early when you're not being aggressive. You can give it to literally anybody. If one person gets caught out, that's okay. The spike is in one location. Anyone can pick it up and change up the entire strategy plan. And straight off the bat, I love that already fishing for information, but JC gets him off guard with the stinger. And he's going to give them a 1-man advantage leading to this 4th round.
That was actually perfectly timed, just as Rias turned around. JC strikes with the stinger, no less. The SMG has been nerfed to hell, but hey, it did damage just then. And plus, they only have 1 ultimate now. They run it back. The 6-man advantage ultimate is gone for De La Salle, but and as well for the defense. They have that Sage Resurrection available. So now it's the defenders who have the man advantage, sort of.
Talking about that stinger, I really dislike the gun. It has got the worst recoil in the game. Like, I swear, I always have to, like, throw my mouse off my...
Hang on. Akino's just dashed onto the side. Already good for 1. A second W cherry on top, but CBF takes him down. But it was a fake all along, as Seaside has been taken for free by De La Salle. But they are still down a player. We should be looking to see them plant the spike in towards the back corner and maybe play long for post-plant defense.
Spike planted.
Well, straight off the bat, they're coming from their own side. They're going to try and catch him off guard behind Market. They will have to be a little bit careful. There are some bit of sparks out there, and there's Issei getting taking down JC immediately. And now he's going to try and even the tides a little bit more.
That smoke, it's super telegraphed as well. And plus, when they hear TP, they know exactly where you are. This retake is going sort of poorly. They've used the ultimates. Okay, finally they strike back. And that nade should maybe do some damage. And it does indeed finish Labs. Okay, things are a little bit close there. But overall, once again, the ultimate advantage and the man advantage in that round for Bass High, that's what secured them this tie game, 2-2.
Seeing Razor's bomb go off like that in the back line, the splash damage coming out from the secondary explosion really gave them that cutting edge needed to be able to take down that last member and give them that point. So now we're coming back up. It is a tied round. De La Salle being pressured a little bit because they are on attack. They do have this map advantage, the elements to take things into their favor. The fact that they are losing points on attack will only make things a little bit more stressful for them meeting over into the second half when they hit on defense, because defense is the worst kind. And now coming into this as well, one side's gone, sorry, we can see that defenders are going straight for full letouts, but on the other side, De La Salle are sitting on three sheriffs and 2 specters. They do have the gun disadvantage leading into this.
But they are going as an entire team, and that's good. So whatever disadvantage they have, they can make up for it with superior numbers. Killjoy, however, is on the A side trying to lock it down with Raze, but it's Raze who has the showstopper ultimate. And look, they're all grouped up. One rocket can finish all of them. They hit the util coming out, and the stars as well. Cheru, this is his time to strike.
Well, they're playing it passive, going to try and make sure they don't catch anybody out. Their server lagging in the flank as well.
Just already on side, but Cheru hasn't been discovered just yet. He's trying to duel up towards short. He's spotting out too many players. He misses everything. There's the showstopper gone. Issei opens up. CBF trades back, and Akino gets retribution. The spike to go down, and bear in mind, De La Salle, they are on an eco. Rhea, sharp shot, takes down Bongo up over towards heaven. Now, they have smokes, but no ultimates to retake this. And now, an extreme man disadvantage. JC, 1-on-5. They know exactly where he is. I'm amazed he managed to survive for that long. But he does take one down before he himself goes down.
And this is going to turn tides around immaculately because they had massive econ last round. Now, they've actually managed to save themselves a little bit of extra creds because they picked up a couple guns. They scavenged off of the corpses of their victims, and they're able to sort of save them for another. So at least they've got another round or two at bare minimum to be able to hit full letouts again and keep things on toe. And, you know, they're on attack. They got another point. That's what they need to keep themselves afloat for a little bit longer. And I got to say, taking on A like that, taking out their biggest competitor, Raze, who had that ulti ready, really gave them the opportunity needed to be able to take this round. Now coming through to the next one, it's going to be just as strong, but this time, the defenders are going to get back on.
Yeah, Asian Fried Rice, he's done that in the past, and it didn't work out so well. He tried it again, once again, gets punished. He was going solo. Oh, JC, did Shoulder get spotted? I'm amazed that he managed to escape unscathed. Okay, now they know exactly where he is, but with only a classic versus a runner back Phoenix with a rifle, oh dear. He's looking the wrong way as well, but Rias taking his time, and he can't actually get this kill as JC manages to back himself into the corner, but how he's there to get the kill, perhaps. Indeed, JC goes down, but look, the defenders, they're putting up a fight. Killjoy Lockdown is now deployed, and this should force the attackers at least off C-Long for the time being, as a spike still down over in Garage.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, there we go. One taken off the board. Defenders do have this. Bass High have the opportunity to try and claim it. So now with that ulti down, could work a little bit more favorably for Howie if he gets those hits, but CBF is going to put him on a pedestal.
Yeah, Howie, though, he has no stars to play with. He does have the Cosmic Divide ultimate, but 1-on-2, I don't really know if it's the best choice to use it. Plus up the shoulder of CBF. But no, CBF just repositioned in the nick of time. That's a 2v1, and they are playing the buddy system. Howie, no armor. He has to land a clean head, just stop things off, and walks right into the crosshairs of CBF. Triple for the Sage. And now, wow, another even game, 3-3.
Yeah, CBF showing us he's had his cup of coffee, he's had his Red Bull, his Monster, his Rockstar, whatever he fancies on his play, and he's really showing us how on fleek he is with those reaction timings.
Placing sentry.
It is just like it is aesthetically
pleasing on
seeing
fleek. I can't believe he actually said on fleek. That has dropped out of like trends for a long time. But hey, it's good to hear it back.
Hey, always got to surprise people somehow.
All right, okay, now, it's a bit of an even bar here. Rias, that's a sharp shot to get the initial frag onto Asian Fried Rice, who now has managed to die as the first player 2 rounds back-to-back now. You don't want to lose the Reyna util this early on.
No, and just looking at the positioning, I love this. They're both, like, all of De La Salle focusing on A, whereas in the other side of the spectrum, they're a little bit split, but they are beginning to converge on top of one another. There's the smoke going out to try and hold out long, but it's not going to be great because Astra has already popped her ulti as well to sort of blind things out a little bit further for them.
Okay, Shearer, bit bold, and oh, didn't do any damage off of the ultimate. Instead, he takes a shock dart, scratching him briefly. Spike goes down, and the defenders, they bled 2 players. No smokes, no flashes. They're going to have to basically shoot their way out of this. If anything, I would recommend them to save, because getting back onto the site now in a post line this heavy, it's going to be next to impossible. Good start though. Rias gets taken down. Good, nice movement tech, blasts away, and they are taking other players. Aquino's by himself under hell, but no, he's just a tad sharper. Takes down CBF as retribution for his for the previous round.
Yeah, and just like that, picking up a couple guns here and there. Everybody's sitting on at least one person. Riaz Graymarie sitting on 2,000 creds, has a full loadout. Everyone else, however, sitting above him, which is really favorable for the likes of De La Salle. The other side of the spectrum, however, things are beginning to become a little bit more individual. We're seeing Shiru on that raise, sitting with just a ghost this round, whereas at least 3 members have decided to go for full loadouts. That is going to be a mismatch comp and a damage disadvantage if they're not careful. And once again, rinse and repeat, we're seeing that Spike sitting in the back line, waiting for them to change around, and First Blood going over to Asian Fried Rice this time with a nice headshot through the wall.
Kill my ally.
Yeah, it's a good start, but hey, look, the res was there, and they managed to bring Aquino back. So numbers are still even, but they managed to burn at least 1 Sage ulti really early in the round, so it wasn't that crucial of a time, I suppose. But once again, going back to your earlier point, it's a very scrappy buy for Bass High, and they really have to make this work and playing trades because they don't want to be bleeding players when you already have a gun disadvantage. Rias, man, that was close. He nearly took down Cherry's head, but the defenders have rotated over to C4 to be precise. It does seem to be a C pinch after all. Things maybe getting a little bit dicey as Issei comes in Hunter's Fury, does damage. A kill will be ideal here. As his teammates forced on the sides. Fried Rice using Reina to perfection. Bongo, sharp split. They spot out Aquino in the corner. 1-for-1 trade. All down to Issei now. The lone Sova. He's burned his ultimate. He's burned his util. His teammates are gone. 1v4.
Yeah, he should. Honestly, he should just sit back on this one, let them take it out, let the time run down, because he's just gonna hand over even more advantages. But there we go.
That's a good. Oh, spray down, and DTBF and JC line up for him. Suddenly, this 1v4 became a 1v2, and things are really doable. Ricardo comes through, and he gets popped into this, so he knows there's at least 1 player on site. Nice shot dart to clear close and to clear backside, but time is running short. 10 seconds at this rate. He has to go for the kill. The plant is going to be always the possible. Rush the side, kill your turret, spots him out. 1v1, but he has time. Hit the planet now. 4 seconds. He's gonna make it. He's done nearly the impossible. 1-on-1. Killjoy biding her time. Bongo over towards garage, and Issei probably smells blood. Gets to get the flick, and indeed he does. Quadra for Issei. Monstrous clutch. De La Salle, what a play.
That has to be the play of the game right there. Last man alive takes out everybody and plants the spike with half a second to spare. Now that is cutting it close to the very edge of that round, and he's just making things even more positive for the likes of De La Salle. They're now sitting on another favorite point. Again, we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds left before we hit the halfway and the switch over. Game away. This is only just a prediction, but I'm feeling hopeful for De La Salle just based on these plays. Like, first we saw CBF, now we're seeing the other side of the spectrum with Issei.
JC, you know, he got picked off first again this round. They have the Sage Reds, thankfully, this time to bring him back from the dead. Maybe they're choosing not to use it as they are on a bit of an eco, so it's sort of wasted. But once again, he kind of wants to lose smokes as the first player. Cheru, lone player on time to hold things down, just whiffs the bullets, doesn't know who to shoot. And De La Salle, they swarm onto the A side easily. Damage is the best thing that Bass High can hope for now.
Spike planted.
CBF can pull off another round and another reversal. This could work well, but no, there she goes. The rest of the team now forced to sit back a bit. This is not looking favorable. They should just give this round over. The spike is down. They're hitting. They don't exactly have good econ going. They can't risk losing another gun, but this is going to be it. Bongo's going to get taken out from a fly.
Yeah, but he did do some damage. He took down 2 players. I think that's okay for being on an eco. But now we are nearing the end of the first half. The ultimates as well, I want to point out. Rias, this is his second runner back in the first half, which is you know, not the best. If you can get 3 in the first half, that's really ideal. 2's average. But Aquino as well, the Blades, he hasn't had to pop that just yet. They've never been in a situation, at least economy-wise, in which he has been forced to use the ultimates. But in the saying for Bass High, once again, a bit of a scrappy buy. Trying to juggle between either a rifle or a Spectre there for Cheer. Just go for the big gun. Go hard or go home. They have the ultimates to play with. This round has to be theirs. Rias, run it back, already popped. It's a dash on the B side.
Exactly, and going straight to the point. They're going to be focusing B quite hardcore, but this is where things can get disastrous for them.
Oh no, JC should have secured that kill. Rias, he walked through a one-way smoke as well of his own teammates. Defenders, though, they managed to bring things back just briefly. 3 on 3, and Agent Fried Rice catches Howie levitating mid-air as Labs gets the insta trade back. Spike is down. Bongo sort of isolates Labs, but the toss was a bit too slow. 59 HP now, 2 shots from death. Spots out the shoulder, but then eats the shock dart. 14 HP. Issei, all he has to do is hold Bongo. This is a tall task.
He had formidable plays. He had the strategy. He had the mindset. He knew exactly where they were. The only thing that didn't work out is that he just didn't have enough health to be able to soak up some more damage.
Yeah, that and the fact that when you are in a 1v2 in a tactical shooter, you really do have to take the initiative and go aggressive. Get that initial kill and make it a 1-on-1. Because the thing is, those last 2 players there, they were essentially isolated from each other. You had CBF over towards... no, it was CBF, sorry. Labs over towards mid, and Issei over towards C-Link. So they really couldn't crossfire or back each other up. And that's why Issei was hiding in the corner there to make sure that Bongo doesn't take him down. Overall, well played. They played the spike, and it worked out fantastically. This time, though, De La Salle looking to go for a strong A rush, leaving the Phoenix on the lurk.
Yeah, but that always works out for De La Salle as well. The person who goes for the flank, who sits on the side, always manages to catch out, you know, their backside, their flank, their weakest point. Because we did see as well that, I think in the last round, a couple of people did get taken out from not seeing where they are. They got headshotted, like we saw from Astro.
Nice, but Bongo with the frenzy takes down 1, but Labs, the sharp flick. Cherry couldn't even get more than 2 bullets off. This is an anti-kill once again, and the defenders, this is just rushing onto the side, but look at how patient, actually, De La Salle are. They're leaving only 1 player on side to plant the spike, and now JC, stuck inside the sage slow, gets revealed as well. He will go down. The defender's bleeding out again. That was close for CBF. He's vulnerable, and he walks into that molly. He's going to be burned into a crisp real fast.
I wonder how long this barbecue's going to last. So there we go, straight on CBF, gets a nice kill with the Spectra. But straight from there, they do have the res available, but it's down to 2. Oh!
That was close. Yeah, Agent Fried Rice, that he almost made it a 1v1, but unfortunately, you have to land a headshot with the Spectre. And plus, the thing about the Spectre is, when you are at close ranges, you don't actually have to sit still and shoot, because as an SMG, you already have a run and gun advantage. Just run, be free, and hope that things work out in your favor. Now, Reinhardt, I hate to say this, we are nearing the end of the first half, and for De La Salle, it's looking to be a 9-3 scoreline. That's convincing.
Well, I did say this is attack prone. They really know how to play well on this map, and they did lose out 3 rounds, but they recovered quite strongly. And they're going to try and keep this element on their side for as long as possible, because as soon as they hit defense, they need to be a little bit more cautious, because they don't have the element, like the element of the map. And look at this, Issei's going to go for the first kill.
Does get 1 and the spray down. JC walks right into it. The trade just wasn't there. They didn't have much intel. And oh dearie me, the Phantom at those distances is so clutch. Though Bongo does manage to hold down this A side for a little bit longer, but it's not long before he goes down himself. There is a flank coming out from right, but the footsteps is too loud as Issei hears it from a mile away. 1-on-1 over towards long, and there's only 1 other defender over towards heaven. The Owl drone. You know exactly where the Rainer is, so I'm concerned for Issei. Okay, I'm not concerned at all. He just holds down the left mouse button. Agent Fried Rice walks, runs the bullets. Cheru, last round of the half, 1v4. Gets caught out on the reload, and Rias. Phoenix aggression, man. What else can I say on the attack? It goes hand in hand.
Historically, getting caught out on the reload is one of the most tilting things that could ever happen to you in this game. Next to accidentally getting headshotted through, you know, a 360 no-scope or anything like that. But look at that. They managed to win 9 out of 12 rounds in the first half. Now moving over to the defense. They could... First Bloods, this could look very favorable and a very massive victory tonight for De La Salle. Because he's had at least 4 to 5 First Blood so far tonight. And this is historical for the player. And the rest of his team are really holding up to play well. Like we can see that Issei has managed to, play off really well in the last couple of rounds, catching people off on the fly. Labs is also holding up just as nicely. Aquino, however, does need to, the only thing that's unfortunate is that he hasn't been forced to use his blades yet, which is his secret weapon, because, they do 50 damage minimum.
He didn't save it into the second half, I suppose. But Labs, the solo Sage on site, gets taken down rather easily. So, Salle, you're down a player, but this retake is still very much doable. It's the pistol round, you might as well go for it. But you have a limited util to play with. Now, Rias, look at this flank. He's made his way all the way up long. This is sneaky positioning. Bongo doesn't quite spot him, I think, as JC goes down. Rias, this is easy! He's in the gravity well of his own teammate, of all things. He gets vulnerable. Now he's in a risky position. He gets taken down by Agent Fighters. Agent Fighters 1v3, gets one, has to reload. The overheal is active though. His spam shots and take down this jet, but he's losing health as we speak. Recon has to come through. Oh, what is going on? Agent Fighters, he can't be whipping like that, man. Aquino cleans up with the triple, just as you were saying Aquino was having a quiet game.
He's picking up the scoreboard a little bit, giving his team a little bit more stability. So far, everyone's sitting in a nice positive KDA for all of DLSL. Same on the other side from Bass High, although it is looking a little bit more scarce on the bottom half of their scoreboard. But nonetheless, they are still making good plays where they possibly can. JC does need to pick up his game, however, if they want to try and bring these back in the second half, because they have the element of the map. They can catch things on. They just need to be a little bit more cautious with their surroundings, because on A, they're exposed by at least 4 forms of entrance. And that could be really unfavorable if they don't try and, control at least 2 of them.
I'll talk about the Pistol a little bit later, as we can see a force fight come through from Bass High. They have to take the site, and the Sage slow orb. It's just buying so much time. 1-for-1 trade, and Aquino just spamming through the smoke, trying to do some more damage. 4-on-4, post plants as the spike goes down.
Yeah, but just sitting up here, they've got control. They have a little bit of vision, but they can get caught out. As we can see,
it's on the flank again as well. But this time, the Killjoy util, it's not being used effectively. I'll explain that in just a moment. But now, Rias, he's finally got a strike from over towards long. That's the easy 1, easy 2. He spots out Prime right to the corner. Classic from long distance, right click. Cheru, 1v3 now. He needs a nade to play this, as, oh dear, only the boom bot was available and gets taken down by Aquino. Double digits, 11 rounds now for Salle. Now, I wanted to say, the Killjoy util, why I don't think it was being used effectively was because you're on the attack, right? And you actually have a more defensive sentinel in the form of Killjoy. Place your turret, say, either towards A long, and use it to get intel in case someone is on the early flank. Because if you have it watching Heaven, or say, Defender spawn, it's sort of pointless because all your players are on site regardless. So it should be actually the other way around right now for Salle, as it don't have any strong sentinel defenders like Cypher or Killjoy to lock down sites and get early intel. Instead, they have to be proactive, they have to be aggressive, and that's exactly what they've been doing with Rias at the very least on the flanks.
Well, looking forward into this, they do have the gun advantage coming in. The Salle do have the gun advantage. They have the stronger defense. They're really showing a strong defensive positioning as well, because they are actually winning on what is normally considered a disadvantage base position. And the rest of Bass need to try and recover from this. And there's Bongo taken out immediately.
They're getting isolated into these one-on-ones, and Salle punching them heavily. Look, the 3-man stack, and that's how confident they are. They throw bodies at them. Wow, match point already.
Yeah, they really pushed them into a corner this time. First, they had an advantage going into the garage. Then they got caught out, and Salle just pretty much they hunted them. They took down the whole pack one by one, and it was just left and right. They had the flank to worry about. They had their front line to worry about. Yep. There was nothing they could do to hold themselves out. They need to try and sort of play the copycat, what Salle did in the first round, where they sort of fished for information, saw what was being focused more, what defensive positions were stronger on which points, and go for the weakest. But so far, it's yet to be seen. What I am liking, though, is Asian Fried Rice is playing on the flank, but is caught out immediately by the blinds up against that window. And look at that straight off the way. Riaz and Aquino now already charging around for the flank.
Riaz once again on the flank, but he's just checking the corners, and this time the timing doesn't work in his favor. As the defenders, they are falling one by one, and now we are seeing signs of life. They have a pulse, but no, they get caught out with the util. How he sprays 2 players down. Suddenly, this 3v2 turns to 1-on-1. As Labs lands the headshot, Asian Fried Rice almost had a moment there, but he will go down. That was unfortunate.
That was just an absolute clean sweep. They were put on a pedestal a little bit for the first 6 rounds. Then they completely took it back and won the remaining 7. It's astronomical. Like, we've seen this time and time again from DLSR College. Should not be surprised to see it once again. And go up against the likes of Bass High. Bass High did show up a good performance, but that was when they had good control. The minute they lost that 6th round and like the 7th round, and they gave it back over to DLSR College, it was just lights out. They knew exactly what to do. They knew how to play around them.
Yep.
They had the strategy. They had the gameplay. They had the I'm going to say it again. They had the on-fleek response time needed to be able to catch them out, especially Issei early on when he managed to actually turn the tides of a single round from 1 versus 4 to he planted the spike within half a second remaining, and he clean sweep the rest of the team. It is just... It's unheard of. It's unseen. Like, it's a
crazy good play. Yeah,
exactly.
And Issei, obviously, he was the hero for that for the first half. I would say earlier on, as it gave his team a morale boost. But overall, right, it's just a difference in how these teams play. This is the first seed versus what, like the... I don't know, man. Let's have a little read again. The 3rd seed. It's only a one win score separating these two, and it just shows the difference of how of the skill gap, right? So you have one team that basically on the attack side plays a slow default. They gather intel. They have a spike down over towards attacker spawn-ish as it gets some picks. Work out where the the defenders are before they strike. Meanwhile, you flip it over to Bass when they were on the attack. They didn't really play a default, especially later on. But then again, they lost the pistol round, so they couldn't really buy up with a strong buy with rifles, and it really did impact them a little bit. But they did, when they tried to go for the A-side takes, once again, that was just a one-trick pony, and it got exposed really early. As the MVP of this game, it will be Rias Gremory, and he being proactive on defense, just going for the flank early on and punishing Bass High School for not using their util effectively, finding that weakness, delivering an even easier win, I would say, for DLSL.
Well, let's also not forget the amount of first bloods he managed to claim in the first half of tonight's game too. Like, that was just amazing. Straight off the bat, gets the first blood. Next couple of rounds, gets the first blood here and there. He didn't exactly hit as many runner backs as you mentioned in that first half. You know, he didn't exactly get to hit 3 runner backs, but still, nonetheless, with Issei being able to pick up that that missing link, really helped the team out greatly and sort of forced him into, like, that nice aggressive lead that they took after that 6th round.
Yeah, and you did actually say really early on that Rias, he has been a consistent performer. I just want to point out, actually, last week I think there was a game in which he wasn't quite feeling himself, so he didn't quite frag out as hard. But then again, that's the thing about DLSL, their lineup as a whole. Whenever one player is having a cold day, all the other players can step up. And tonight, I would say it's a pretty solid team game. Everyone, obviously went positive. Everyone hit double digits. Issei had a huge moment there. Rias just being unpunished and running around so freely, getting those kills. Labs for support. Akino clearing space for his team. And earlier on, I think there was a round in which he managed to fake an A push all by himself. Even got a kill out of it and baited all the defenders off of the other sides of the map. Howie, he's just a smoke guy with his Astra util to support his team. Overall, nice circle of life, and that's the story.
Exactly, and I think it's time we sent our viewers off to a little intermission break while we get ourselves ready, because we are getting a little bit into... No, wait, sorry, we have a little bit of time before we hit the final game here tonight over at Meta HSE. I gotta say, that was a very aggressive second round tonight, and my first cast, and I gotta say, I'm feeling a little bit overheated while wearing this jacket.
Well, look, it's getting pretty cold here in Australia, so it's a good thing you have a jacket on. Well, guys, we will be going for a short breather as the next game at 7 p.m. will be Melbourne High School versus Beaumarie's Secondary College. Once again, this will be the my last shift for this week. I'm Digital Cast. Of course, joining me is Reinhardt Coin. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Meta HSE Valorant, sponsored by Optus and Torrens University of Australia.